life and try to turn it into something good.
Well, and that's amazing because a lot of times, my child and I'm sure others out here that are looking, they kind of write their kids off, but it shows that with I guess what your mom just kept believing in you, or how did that transition come about for you become a major player in the corporate industry?
Well, Cruz, I think you hit it on the head, which is, the principal was against me and saying that I was kind of worthless. It literally wrote on my report card, not only a disruptor, but he said the best advice that he would give her, and she was a single mom at the time, was to put me in the woods for the summer with a book of nothing more than a book of matches and let me fend on my own. And my mom took that. She showed me that she ripped it up and she had my back. And she said, son, I believe in you and we're going to work hard and we're going to learn how to deal with your learning disability. And one day it's going to be a positive versus a negative. And just knowing my mom, passed a couple of years back, had my back. That's all I needed. And then, yeah, I worked, man. And I thought of that SOB every single day.
Now, you 12 years ago, you started in the social media industry. How has it changed over the 12 years since you first entered into this industry?
Oh my gosh, Cruz. Well, we started actually 21 years ago in that. I started the company in 1999 when really social media barely existed. The interactivity or the socialness of the internet was message boards and chat rooms at the time. So in 1999, 2000, 2001, you had the .com lift and then the .bomb bust, which destroyed hundreds of companies without a purpose. And we saw it as a nuclear winter. We thought that what we were doing was saying, hey, look, it's great when brands advertise at you and say certain things, but you know what? The most powerful form of marketing out there is word of mouth. It's neighbor to neighbor, community to community, saying what product you like, what movie do you want to buy, what car is out there. That you value that much more than the commercial that you ignore when it's shoved at you for 30 seconds. So he said, hey, there's real value in this. And then also online intelligence, helping companies and brands and people understand, hey, Ford, what are people saying about your F-150? Hey, Dodge with your Charger, what are people saying about it? And how can that help you make better decisions? And how more so can you communicate with that audience? So it was groundbreaking stuff at the time. It seems, like 101 today, everyone knows that stuff matters, but they didn't back then. And as the internet progressed and grew and matured, so it went from chat rooms and message boards to blogs, then to Facebook and Twitter and some of the major platforms, YouTube, that exist and you do so well on Cruise today. So the internet is always evolving. There's always going to be a what next. And when you're dumb enough or smart enough to name your company New Media Strategies, you need to stay on the cutting edge of that. So that's what we serve.
Now, you work with a lot of small businesses on a day-to-day basis, and a lot of businesses, as you know right now, are going through some difficult times, and they don't have that marketing budget right now. What would you suggest to them? Because I have a question that came in from Geraldine Smith that has a company. She said, I want to know from Mr. Snyder that you bombarded with so many people promising so many things in terms of marketing, analytics, and doing the SEOs and things like that, that for small businesses, how can they get the type of quality that perhaps your business, which was much larger and catering to much larger clients, get that type of quality without having that big budget?
Sure. I mean, I think that that's a very good and complicated question, but the easiest answer I could give is understand your audience, right? Any big business or any small business owner should know, what is my mission and what is my purpose, right? What do I try to do better than anyone else out there? What is my niche? And then who is my audience, okay? Who are they exactly to a T? And in this day and age, you can get it to the name. And what do they care about? And then how do you make yourself relevant? So, I think there's a lot of snake oil that's sold in social media and digital media. Beware of that. If you can't answer those couple questions, which is, what is your mission? What are you doing better or trying to do better than anyone else? Then who is your audience and what do they care about? Don't even try to talk to a marketing consultant or a digital agency that's going to take your money and promise you 100 different things. You can't even begin to answer the question until you nail down those couple of fundamentals. When you do that, then you can start separating the snake oil from the real stuff.
Would you agree that there's really no magic bullet when it comes to marketing?
Absolutely. And look, it doesn't matter what people are doing on social or Instagram or YouTube. It's all the same. It's storytelling, right? That's what you're trying to tell a story, whether you're telling a story of Hugh Cruz, whether you're trying to tell a story of a brand, whether you're trying to tell a story of a cause, which is what my wife and I started not too long ago. You're storytelling, and you're trying to tell people why it matters and why it matters to their life and what impact is it having. Doesn't matter what the platform is. It goes back to, drawings on the side of caves, storytelling.
Now, you've had tremendous success in starting several businesses and making them where they were the best place to work, man. That's phenomenal. And I'm not laughing at that because I'm sitting here thinking, oh, wow, I want to get there to that plateau as well. So what are some of the things that you came out the box saying, this is what I need to do to create that type of environment?
Well, sure. And I think it goes back to what I said before. It's knowing your audience, and you're kind to say the things that you have. And yes, it's nice to get awards. I don't know whether they're accurate or not, right? Because I'm sure sometimes I could be a real jerk and other times I probably could be a good guy. But it was really understanding while I was in the technology industry and while we were pioneers in social media, I knew every single day the most important assets of my company went down an elevator shaft and they went home. And they had a choice. Now, they might have needed the paycheck, but they had a choice. They could get up the next morning and come back in and go up that elevator shaft and make us work. Or if they don't like what they do, they can choose by their feet and not come back. So I wanted to do everything that I could to make sure that people wanted to get up in the morning and go to work and do a good job. So that's why we treated our employees the way we did. We tried to treat them as partners. We tried to treat them as shareholders. I ended up selling the company at one point in time, and I brought my people along in the process. And not a lot of folks that had stock in the company. Things changed after the .bomb scare. People wanted cash. They didn't want options or stock or anything like that. So we gave them cash. But when I realized that, we had a significant event in the company and I'd do well and our investors would do well, I wanted to make sure our employees had a piece of the pie. So we carved off $2.5 million and gave people the opportunity over 3 years to have a piece of the action. And it worked like a charm. And again, it's, the usual story is that, boss sells company, goes off to the Cayman Islands and everyone gets screwed. And we wanted to do something really, really different. So it's treating your employees like they are, which is an equal.
I have a question coming in from Facebook. Another one here says, I'm a nonprofit. How can I get more monetary donations to match my in-kind donations that with down drone stuff? I'm sorry if I'm misreading this Facebook post. So let me try it again. I am a nonprofit. How can I get more monetary donations to match my in-kind donations so we don't drown? I think that's what they said. Okay.
And I imagine your caller is talking about the here and now. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Well, look, I think there would be, I think there are a lot of different programs that can help nonprofits. If you're in Virginia, I would call your senators. I'd call Senator Kane. I'd call Senator Warner. Their staffs work in, over, 24/7 to try to help folks out to figure out as nonprofits, where can you get some assistance? I do believe that there are federal programs that cover nonprofits as well as for-profit companies. So I would absolutely guide you there, no matter what, if you know your congressman or congresswoman and their name, I would go to them and ask them to help guide you in the right direction. There are federal programs. There are people that can help. You need to have a Sherpa in those offices to help you navigate. So I just start calling them right away.
All right, and that question came from one of our viewers in Richmond. I guess they wanted to make sure that we knew their locality here. So that information pretty much is going to be the same no matter where you are in the Commonwealth. Is that correct?
Yeah. So given the calamity, what's happening right now, Cruz, if this were normal times, I would have 4 or 5 different answers. But we are at war right now. Let's just be honest. We're at war. I mean, when in your lifetime, Cruz, or that of your audience, have we ever had a lockdown the way that we have? And my view of it is there are 2 fronts to this war. There's a health and wellness front that's being fought by the courageous doctors and nurses and healthcare workers that are doing everything they can to keep people alive. But on the second front of this war is an economic war that is killing and crushing all the small businesses across the country and across Virginia. And I don't have a doctor's background or a medical background. So I enlisted in the economic war, and that's why we're doing everything we're doing with the Virginia 30-Day Fund to help small businesses in distress and small business owners in need.
That's a good segue because, again, I want to talk just like I don't know anything about the Virginia 30-Day Fund. So where did this idea originate? And tell us more about what is required and some of the things that you guys are currently doing with the Virginia 30-Day Funds.
Sure, Cruz. Thanks for asking. And like so many of us, we were blindsided to a degree. I knew there was stuff going on. I knew there was concern about this flu or that people were talking about before. So I had my eye on it. We're actually away at Disney World. I have a 5-year-old daughter, and we took her for her first time. And we were a little skeptical whether we should be going or not, but everything seemed fine. And then the world started to shut down, and we got out of there ASAP. And I kind of felt bad as a parent of, oh my gosh, did we take this risk? But we got back home. I live in Charlottesville, Virginia. And first thing was, okay, is my family safe? Are we healthy? And if we're going to be in lockdown for a while, do we have enough provisions? Okay, so that was the first couple things as a person, as an individual. I said, okay, I got to take care of. Then, as a business owner, I just say, okay, how are my businesses? Are they in good shape? All right, compared to the rest of the world, they're doing okay. Everyone's taking a haircut, but the 1 or 2 that are taking on water is nothing near the bloodshed that's happening in other sectors of the economy. All right, we're okay. Then after about 10 days, my wife and I looked at each other and said, this is war, and what are we doing? How are we contributing? We're still on the sideline. And we wanted to do something about it. And because I don't have a medical background, I knew I didn't have much to offer there, but I know small businesses really, really well. I work with early stage companies every single day. A day-to-day for me is my life is Shark Tank. That's really what I do. And we saw this federal legislation, which was well intended, $2 trillion being pumped into our economy. But we knew the way the federal government acts. Federal government might have good intentions, but they're slow. And this was going to be 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 weeks before those dollars hit the pockets of small business owners who needed them. We said that's a gap that I know we in the private sector can fill. So my wife and I put $100,000 of our own money into it. We got a couple of friends to, fixtures in the business community in Virginia, folks like Bobby Kilberg and Todd Stoudemire and Jim Chang, who used to be the Commerce and Trade Secretary of Virginia. Got them together and said, here's a plan and here's what we can do. So we pooled money. And then we launched. Our deal is this. We were offering $3,000 of forgivable loans to every single possible business that can apply. You need to be Virginia based, right? You need to be a Virginia resident. You need to be in business for at least a year, and you need to have 3 to 30 employees out there. And our funding, so it's all over the range, but we have been flooded, Cruz, with over 1,300 applications from the day we started. We have fully funded 81 different companies across the Commonwealth, and have really done more. Looking at what's happening across the country, we've done more to help small business and small business owners more quickly than any other non-government agency in the country. And I'm not bragging about that, Cruz, because that shouldn't be, right? We should be number 50 on that list. But the system overall isn't working the way it should. So we knew that we had to step in and try to get people over the hump.
Well, first of all, I want to commend you and your wife for making that type of investment into the Commonwealth. A lot of people, again, talk a good game, but it's another to put your, lack of a better word, your money where your mouth is. And so with that being said, at least to the fact that, okay, did you and your wife, do you all have a committee that looks at each one of the applications that's submitted?
Absolutely. With 1,300, we have to. So we were really fortunate to have a bunch of smart folks with us in my business, but more so, we have the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, who's helping us out and helped us out with the regulations that kind of govern nonprofits. And then because I'm based in Charlottesville, we've been able to enlist a team of 50 UVA Darden MBA students and alums. So some of the brightest business minds in the country that are helping us cull through all these applications to be able to separate, folks who are well-intended but just do not meet our criteria. Unfortunately, in life, they're fraudsters too, so root those folks out. And then we have a funding committee that then reviews final applications and makes a decision based on that. So it's a very fine-tuned process that can deal with a lot of volume because there's a lot of pain out there, and try to get people really quick answers. And the one thing that I wanted to make sure that there's nothing worse than being in need and you apply for something and then you're in limbo for it. You have no idea whether you get it or not or what have you. So we have made a commitment that we return an answer to folks within 3 days. So Cruz, we can't fund everyone. We don't yet have the funding for those 1,300 applications. I've raised $400,000 in a handful of days, which is a good chunk of change, but we need more. As they said in the movie Jaws, we're going to need a bigger boat. We need a bigger boat. We're working hard for that. But we are funding companies every single day. We're raising money every single day. I have a lot of confidence that we're going to be able to help hopefully hundreds of Virginia small businesses, if not more, because the bleeding is that bad out there. And we're just trying to be something that, again, $3,000 isn't going to solve all the world's problems. Or is it $1,000 or is it $2,000 or is it $500? But it's enough to hopefully keep a handful of people on payroll, pay some, make sure that in this really scary time for health, that you keep employees' health care isn't being cut, or paying the rent, or keeping the lights on.
Right.
We need entrepreneurs that can actually open the door when we're open for business again. They need to have a door to do that.
Absolutely. Another question that came in, and again, I want to be extremely fair to you. The question is that if you went through the process before, maybe then make the first cut, with say an additional round of funding, would those applications be reviewed again?
Great question. So the simple answer is yes. And we have pulled, I would probably say almost a dozen people that originally did not make first cut. But we asked people, if we don't have, first and foremost, we want to give you an answer so you're not in limbo. So we give you an answer. And if it's not yes, we ask your permission to keep your application open. Some people, don't want to do that or choose not to, and that's fine. Or some people simply just don't qualify for what we're doing. But a whole lot of people say, yes, we'd love for you to keep our application open. So we go back to that all the time. We've pulled about, again, we funded 81 different businesses. We pulled at least a dozen off of that initial list. We're constantly looking at it, trying to do everything we can to help folks out there. So there is hope. And I have a lot of hope that we're just scratching the surface here, Cruz. Again, I feel good about our first 2 weeks, but we got a whole lot more that we can do and that I need to do and our team needs to do. And, we're going to do everything we can to help people out.
Can you let people know for those that are tuned in now and also those that will be viewing this over the next several days, where they need to go to apply for the funding, and how much longer do you anticipate this funding being available, or this program being available?
Sure. First and foremost, if you're in need, you need some help, and you want to apply, visit our website, va30dayfund.com. So it's va30dayfund.com. It's a 30, so va30dayfund.com. Please apply. It takes less than 10 minutes to pull up your smartphone. Really easy to do. You have a one-page form to fill out, and then we want you to tell your story. So we ask you to take a quick video of yourself, show who you are, what your business is, show your business if you can, and then tell us what you would do with our funds. We tend to gravitate to people who are going to keep their employees on the payroll, make sure that they're paying for healthcare, and make sure that they're taking care of expenses like rent and utilities and things like that. That's the purpose of our funds. And as far as it goes to, how long we're going to be around, there's a reason why we called it the Virginia 30-Day Fund, because we can't solve all the world's problems, but we can help fill the gap or get people over what we call the death valley of the right here and now until those government checks start hitting the bank accounts of small business owners. You can't be, you're a great entrepreneur, Cruz, and you know this, you can't be an entrepreneur without being an optimist, right? That's
right.
You got it. That said, it is bleak out there. It is hard. So I think we're going to be around for at least 45 days, not just 30. And if you put a gun to my head, I'd probably say we're going to be around for 90 days. So we're in this to do everything we can to make sure that Virginia has an economy when we open back up again. And they have businesses that are open and employees that are being paid and that have healthcare benefits, so that we can try to go back to some semblance of normal and have an economy that works. That's our main purpose. We got to make sure that the small business men and women who take risks every day and are responsible for employees have what they need to get the job done.
We're getting a lot of great comments here from the TCT design firm. Says great information. They really appreciate you taking your time out to be on the program tonight. Now we have a page. It's called the Virginia VA Things to Do page. It has over almost 4,000 people that are in the Commonwealth. Started that page about a year ago, and it's just grown since then. And we have about, I would say, in the neighborhood about 15% small business owners. What type of advice would you give them right now of how to navigate this treacherous times until things turn around and that we get through this pandemic?
Sure. I think number one would be take care of your people. Make sure that you can keep them, because this whole thing will spiral downwards if every single business says, oh, gee whiz, we're down 50%. Okay, I'm going to cut every employee. And then those folks can't pay their bills, which impacts the businesses that they owe money to and the pizza shop down the street and what have you. Do everything you can to shore up your business and keep your people whole, or as whole as you can make them. So that's number one. Number two is don't get discouraged about the federal government or your state government. Make sure, there are a handful of people that were first in line for these PPPs and SBAs. I have, decent confidence that Washington will try to do the right thing. from the administration and from Congress. I don't think America is going to let money get in the way of whether we're going to survive or not. So I think more money is coming out there, but use the resources that are here in Virginia. If you haven't called your senator, Kane and Warner, they're working hard. Their staff's working hard. Make sure that you're calling them and having their constituent service people help you navigate this crazy time and all this bureaucracy. Do the same with your congressman or woman, and also use your state government. Use your delegate or your state senator to help you do that as well. But there's a reason you vote for these folks, or maybe you don't. They're in office. Make them work. Make them work for you. And I got to give it, they are working hard. But raise your hand, pick up the phone, send the email, stay on them because they can help.
One other marketing question, and I want to make sure that I'm helping our audience. And I certainly appreciate your time. And I told you I would only keep you 20 minutes. But before we get ready to go, what do you say to that small business owner right now that needs to continue to get their business out there? They don't have money right now for advertising to use a firm perhaps like yours or the big ones, and maybe they have only a few dollars. What do you say to them to help them with their marketing during this crunch time?
Sure. I mean, I think it's know your audience. I think Facebook and digital can be some of the cheapest type of marketing dollars you want, but where do your customers, where are they getting their information, and how can you use that? So sometimes, talk radio can be a cheaper way to get out your word, get out the word. What I will tell you is this: everyone's hurting, right? Everyone is hurting out there, no matter how big they are, whether it's the local television affiliate or the talk radio person or the digital folks. So negotiate with everyone. Don't take the price that they hand you because they're hurting, and you know what? They will make a deal. So that's actually the best advice I could possibly give, is negotiate everything. Everyone's feeling the pain. Everyone wants to close the deal. Make them work for you.
Now, you ran for lieutenant governor in 2013, and will we see Pete Snyder again in the political arena?
Cruz, I can barely, with the flood that's happening with Virginia 30 Day and all the carnage out there, I can't see past next week. That's not a BS political answer that I'm giving you to on the air. It's, from the moment we open up the doors, it's been 24/7, or for me, 18 hours a day for my wife and I, and for our entire team here. I think we got eyes on the prize. We got to try to save as many Virginia businesses and jobs as possible. There'll be a time for politics, certainly not right now. And to that point, I got to tell you, sure, I've had a couple of my Republican friends that have really stepped up. Nick Freitas, Mark Obenshain, state senator, handful of Israel O'Quinn out in Southwest Virginia, a number of really good folks. But you know what? Democrats have too. Chap Peterson and his wife put $10,000 into the Virginia 30 Day Fund. He's a state senator from Fairfax County. He joined both of them. Sharon and Chap Peterson joined our advisory board of the Virginia 30 Day Fund. Scott Survival, very liberal Democrat from the Alexandria area. Good, really good guy. It took 5 minutes for him to say, you know what, Pete, I believe in this. I'm going to give $5,000. So across party line, Senator Warner and Senator Kane have been very helpful, in their offices have. So we're acting as Virginians, and unfortunately, it took a calamity like this to try to cut some of the partisan garbage that goes on, and have people, Virginians acting as Virginians, Americans acting as Americans. So that's been the probably lone silver lining that I'm seeing about this horrible time.
What I want to do, first of all, Pete, I want to thank you and the organization, the Virginia 30 Day Fund, because of what you all were able to do for us. Again, we're able to do this with the broadcast, with the radio, continue to keep our site up, get information out to people. We were able to take some money and donate purchase some masks and donate some masks. So I want to say to you from the bottom of my heart, me and my entire staff, when I was sending out the money, it was just all of the comments that were coming in just really filled my heart. And I want to say to you, I thank you and your entire team. And to pay that forward, I said this before, but I don't think people actually saw it. I want to help 10 businesses with their marketing free of charge right now. I'll put a radio ad together for you, market you on our 15 social media platforms. That's what I'm offering because you open the door for us and you're allowing us to do what we do, and we want to pay it forward.
Cruz, God bless you. God bless you. And, that is generous and kind, not unexpected, because that's the kind of guy you are. And that's why we backed you. It really is. You said you put your people first. You're a great entrepreneur. As I said, you're an entrepreneur's entrepreneur, and I know you're going to thrive. I know the people working with you are going to thrive in the future, and that's what we need. So there's a great act of kindness and generosity. It is I wish we first met under different, better circumstances, but God bless them. I'm glad God put you in my life.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And if I don't ask this last question, I'm going to hear about it. Because of your background in marketing, the question came in, will you be doing any pro bono marketing tips or helping people to perhaps get over the hump right now with their marketing?
Well, sure. We're not putting on Virginia, 30-day fund is not putting on any marketing seminars and stuff like that. We're eyes on the prize. We have one mission, which is to help fund as many hurting small businesses in Virginia. So hopefully that saves jobs. And so I'm fundraising and I'm funding. So that's my main focus and the fund's main focus. But what we are doing for some of the businesses, as many as that want it, that we fund, we're helping to drive business their way too. So let me give you an example. We had a restaurant. There was a real institution in Arlington, Virginia called Whitlow's on Wilson. And they're just, everyone in the area knows about them. And we did a call to action of, hey, picking up carry out there. And, sure enough, I got a call a couple days later that said, Pete, we got a great spike in our carry out because of what you did. Now, I can't take 100% credit for that. I don't know if there are 4 other factors that help give that spike, but we're doing everything we can. So it's not just wiring money and then see you later. It's staying in the pocket, having people's backs, and using our marketing prowess or social media reach of the individuals behind this effort, but also our entity that's only 2 weeks old, to help get the word out, help tell their stories, and hopefully people drive business their way.
Right. Give again those the website where people can go and apply, and also where to follow you guys on your social media platforms.
Certainly. Well, the website where you can apply, or if you're moved by what we're talking about today, we need your donations to keep on doing what we're doing. So it's va30dayfund.com. That's va30dayfund.com. And it's on Twitter, it's at VA30dayfund. On Facebook, it's VA30dayfund. Check us out. Same thing on Instagram. All our handles are on our website. But please, anything we can do for you, let us know and stay in touch and be strong out there.
Listen, this has been a great conversation. I'll be remiss in my duties if I did not talk about Memphis in May and your involvement in Memphis in May, because I have a lot of alumni that will be watching, and I want to give a shout out to the Mighty Mustangs, East High Mustangs.
I love it, Chris.
Is an alumni.
I married a Memphian. So my 901 knowledge is fairly deep. My late, God bless him, father-in-law was a Mustang as well, and a graduate of East High School. But look, when you marry a Memphian, barbecue comes in the dowry. So that's kind of what happened for me. I always liked barbecue. I went to William and Mary and loved Pierce's Barbecue in Williamsburg, but boy, did I get an education when I was dating my now wife. And one point in time at Memphis in May, my future father-in-law at the time and I were, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 beers, maybe more deep, walking around Memphis in May, and we saw these people that everyone, as you know, is having fun out there. We saw these people that are very serious, and they're going up to every stand and every party and what have you, and we realized they were the judges. So try to figure out, well, what does it take to be a judge? Fast forward 6 months later, I'm in the ballroom of the downtown Holiday Inn in Memphis for a 9.5 hour long barbecue judge certification, and I got 100 on my test. So I passed. My father-in-law at the time passed, and it's been a blast. So I've been a Memphis in May judge. I got to probably get back I think I might have lapsed. I haven't judged a contest in a little bit, but I need to get back out there on the circuit. But I love it. Nothing better, nothing more fun. So I got to, like, you've been asking me questions, Cruz. I got to flip it and ask you, your favorite barbecue joint in Memphis is what?
My favorite one, and this is going to kill some of the bigger ones. I love Tops Barbecue. Okay. Now you have Rendezvous. You used to have the Public Eye, and you had a lot of Neely's. I can't not forget Neely's and Interstate. So I can go the list is on. But when it comes to that smoke flavor, I'm Tops. But if I were in Memphis right now, I would say Cruz Inc. Barbecue is the best barbecue.
Hey, let's expand. Look, I'm a Central Barbecue guy first. I think they're the best right now. I like the barbecue shop a lot. Of course, I like all the mainstays that you listed. And as far as ambiance, there's nothing better than having your waiter, Danny at the Rendezvous, and there's nothing better than that. Nothing better than that. Not the best ribs ever, but as far as the whole experience, hard to top. But I'm a Central guy.
As we go, I put my foot in my mouth by inviting you over to try my barbecue. So I am going to be working diligently to perfect my secret recipe here, because I got one of the top judges in the country coming, and I don't want to fall flat on my face.
Hey, Chris, I know you won't. I have great confidence in you, and look, I can't wait. I think we all can't wait till we pull out of this and we're in a position where we can do that. My wife and I are very grateful for your invitation. I can't wait to take you up on it.
Any parting words, Pete, to encouragement to our businesses once again? And I want to say thank you so much for being here and taking the time out to be with us tonight.
Well, thank you, Cruz. And look, my message is simple. Just stay strong. As Americans, as Virginians, we've been through a whole heck of a lot over the centuries, and we will persevere without a doubt. And I would just say that we are at war right now. We really, truly are. There's a health front. There's an economic front. And, you got to shore up your own base, make sure that your business is solid, and do everything you can to protect your family, your loved ones, and your business. But if you've been able to do that to some degree and you're sitting on the sidelines, you need to enlist. Whether it's feeding those heroes on the medical and health and wellness front, go out there and figure out a way to help. Or if it's on the economic front, we need you. If you're okay financially, we need your contribution. If you're hurting, we need you to apply. If you know of folks that are hurting and they're not aware of Virginia 30-Day Fund, get them our way. But whatever you do, now is not the time to be sitting on the sidelines. Everyone needs to enlist and just stay strong out there. We're going to get through.
Thank you so much, Pete, for being with us. And make sure you tell your wife I appreciate her loaning you to us tonight. Again, we want to have you back because there's so much information that you have that, again, under different circumstances, the people, our viewers, they really want to know. And again, we don't have enough time tonight because you've taken time already from your busy schedule. And again, I want to encourage people, if you have extra money, you're a philanthropist or whatever, please, this is one organization that I know, and I don't do a lot of public endorsing of companies unless I feel very secure about them. I went through the process. The process was very streamlined. I got the information back within 3 days. Everything that he said here tonight actually happened. And again, we're benefactors of that. Thank you so much, Pete. Please come back and be with us again.
Thank you, Cruz. Absolutely will. Best to your audience. And I just can't wait to try that cue, man.
All right. Have a great night.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. This is Cruz with Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8, your internet radio station for smooth jazz, R&B, gospel, and more. We've had none other than a man who's been an innovator in social media marketing. He's currently now focused on fundraising and getting monies to small businesses here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. So go to Virginia 30-Day Fund. You can find them on Facebook. You can find them on Twitter. You can find them also on Instagram, and put in your applications. Money is still available right now. We encourage you to do that. If you have any questions, you can email me at cruiseinkradio@gmail.com, and we'll be glad to get your questions that we didn't get to tonight, or something maybe we didn't think of. We'll make sure we get that to Pete and his committee. Thank you again for supporting Cruz Inc. Radio. We hope that you found the information very informative and enlightening tonight, and we look forward to coming back to you. We're going to be bringing other individuals. We have a CPA that we're going to be bringing on within hopefully next Monday. So we're trying to bring you information that will help you during these critical times. So if you have any suggestions of people that you would like to see on this broadcast, again, send us the information. You can go to our Cruz Inc. Radio Facebook page and leave us a comment, or you can go to any of our Cruz Inc. pages. But to get a quick answer, email us at cruiseinkradio@gmail.com. Again, that's cruiseinkradio@gmail.com. It's 8:48 tonight. Hope that you will tune in later on to midnight, and that's going to be After Hours with Al Seifert for some of the best romantic music in the country. And that all starts at 12 tonight. If you want to listen to some great jazz to kind of wind down, then join Tina E. Tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on Cruz Inc. Radio 102.8. And you can go to our website to listen. That's www.cruiseinc.com. That's cruiseinkradio.com. Thanks, everybody. Have a great evening. And as Pete says, stay strong. We will make it through this together. God bless you. Everybody have a great night.